Football Show.
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 17 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive a new 2025 RDX $419 a month during our 17th anniversary sale.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 17 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Take $10,000 off a 2025 Acura MDX during our 17th anniversary sale.
It's big. It's gigantic. It's the Toyota of Hollywood Super Sale. Over 2,000 Toyotas from just $17,988. Like a Corolla LE, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. Join the fun and get a super deal at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till...
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation. documentation, 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodyasdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 17 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive a new Acura ZDX, $439 a month during our 17th anniversary sale.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
All right. Before we start to rock and roll, because it's like really freaking weird, I really had a good time today. Like really, it's preseason game 2. The starters didn't play. I'll tell you why. I had a really good time. But first of all, I need to know if I have some thumbs up here. Thumbs up. Do we have thumbs up? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I want to know audio-wise, are we good? Because I do this solo, you know. When Sean is with me during the regular season, this is all me doing the preseason stuff. I normally don't do it. We're good? We're good? We're good. Okay. All right. For those of you that follow the show every day and we've talked about, look, man, this doesn't change my overall perspective. I'm not really expecting a big year or anything like that, right? So I've talked to you about how I'm looking at this season as a developmental year, as a transition year where I think we have a new coach. You know, I think we get Weaver when it's all said and done. You know, do I think they can run still? I'm not sure. Can they cover? I don't know. But man, there's so much good shit today. God, there's so much good shit. There's so many good linebackers on this team now. You got a lot of depth. All the fat guys. We talked about this in the offseason. I wanted this to be about the fat boys and stop being the disorderlies. And, dude, Grant and Phillips and Biggers, and I just love what I'm seeing there. You know what I'm saying? And then here's like the bad good news, right? We're all like scratching our heads going like, yo, what the hell's going on with Jalen Wright? And then we're like, yo, this Ollie Gordon the second. Yeah, this is the number 2 here, bro. Like, yeah, give me lightning and thunder, right? Normally it's thunder and lightning, but we know Achane is the dog here, right? So let's go lightning and thunder. Because Ollie Gordon can catch the goddamn ball. He can run the ball between the tackles. He runs with freaking authority. Okay? So I'm feeling good about that. I'm a little disappointed. I don't know what happened with Jay Wright. Something's going on there. I don't know, because it's not like the same guy we were watching like at the beginning of training camp. And then all of a sudden when his light got turned off, he disappeared for the rest of the year. And then now it just like it hasn't, his fire hasn't been ignited. And that's his own fault, by the way, not anybody else's. But Ollie Gordon looks good, dude. And then from the I told you so department, okay, because you had a lot of writers talking about it. You had a lot of people out there saying that, no, this is Zach Wilson's job. Well, we now know it's Zach Wilson now, right? Because that's what it is. Even though on that fourth down, I know he had but he took that sack on fourth down anyway. But Zach Wilson, you watch him, and then you watch Quinn Ewers. Come on, let's go. Let's have a kumbaya. Let's come together, Dolphin fans, you and me. Come on, let's go. We've been through hell and back, right? I've been at this for a long time, okay? I've been at this for decades now, okay? Let's have a kumbaya. When you watch Quinn Ewers scan the field and throw the ball, who looks more like a quarterback? Quinn Ewers or Zach Wilson? Zach Wilson still looks like the project, the athletic project that you're trying to mold to think and act and play like a quarterback. Whereas Quinn Ewers thinks, acts, and plays like a quarterback. He doesn't have to translate like a whole bunch of other guys, by the way. Where Zach Wilson is, many players have been that they have to transition from their athleticism and then become a quarterback with awareness of the pocket. Who has that, Ewers or Zach Wilson? When you look at ball placement, who has that, Ewers or Zach Wilson? When we look at anticipatory skills, who has that, Ewers or Zach Wilson? And so, by the way, you're welcome to challenge all the people in the world of electronics, all the writers, because let me tell you, it was most of them. Most of the people that are in my biz said, oh, no, it's Zach Wilson's. No problem. No, actually, Ewers is the better player right now. He's the better quarterback. He's the quarterback. Zach Wilson is not. He's still the athlete trying to play quarterback. He cannot actually see through windows. That's not what he does. Quinn Ewers can throw people open like Tua does. He is closer to what you need to back up Tua in this offense. And I just want to, just say, since I was one of the few, I told you that Ewers could challenge Wilson from day one, from the second they drafted him. I told you, hey, Ewers can challenge Zach Wilson for the backup job. Okay. Now we'll see if I have my own theories here, thinking that Ewers is the front office's pick and that Zach Wilson is the hard-headed guy's pick. So we'll see how it all develops. But there is one of the things that I didn't like about today's game, and I knew it wasn't going to happen. So I'm living in another world, okay? But I would have, after the second series for Zach Wilson, I would have brought in Ewers with the same group for 2 series to see. You know what I mean? Instead of him playing with the lesser guys. And because then you start diminishing his accomplishments, and I refuse to do that because they're both playing against backups. And then when I look at who they are as players, as quarterbacks, I see a huge difference. I see a guy that in Ewers I can work with. I'm not telling you that he's going to be a starter. Okay. I'm not telling you he's going to save the season or anything. If Tua goes down, we all know that our team has no chance. Okay. Let's just not kid ourselves. All right. Let's get out of Stupidville. But if you're going to tell me which is the backup that I want to invest my time into, that I think I may have a future more with, it's Quinn Ewers out of the two. So there were like things throughout the game, that you guys loved it, right? Watching McClendon come around like a damn werewolf, Grayson Murphy, the Asante kid can hit, Cameron Good, who, God bless him, he has been through hell and back, because first year he wasn't getting any playing time. Then he got that knee injury, and then he was out for a whole year, and then he's back and trying to, and time has passed, and coaches have changed a couple of times for him. And so it's like one of those things that his head is spinning as he has to catch up to all of this and catch up with his injury. The Cam Good story is such a great story in itself, and I don't even know if he makes the team. But all I'm saying is that there's a lot of linebackers on top of your starters, that there's a lot of stuff to actually watch and say, hey, man, this is pretty good. And if you can, let me tell you something. This is stupid, right? Like, it's the second preseason game. Why should I even feel anything like this? But it's kind of what I do. It's because there's a level, I told you, a foundational level to what they're going to do this year. Maybe you're not going to go to the playoffs. Maybe you're not going to go deep into the playoffs. Maybe you're not even going to win a playoff game or any of that. Maybe you might not even have a winning season this year. But at the end of the year, if you start feeling a lot better about the defensive tackles next to Zach Sealer, which I think we all do, you know what I'm saying? If the linebackers start to develop, you can only do so much with a terrible secondary. You know what I'm saying? So it's a hole that it's hard for them. And then the offensive line, we still don't know if they can all play together and be dominant, which is really what the Dolphins need. They kind of need a dominant, talented, dominant offensive line, something they haven't had since the 70s. Think about this. I don't know how many, all of your ages out there, but they haven't had a talented, dominant offensive line since the 70s. They've had individuals on different offensive lines over the years, but not like the line. That's really what they need to save this season. A talented, dominant line that can also dominate and run the ball and protect. We don't know if they can do that. And we certainly don't think they have any depth. Although, I got to tell you, my boy Keon Smith gave me a little bit of hope today. Another kid coming back from an injury. He was showing me something before the injury, playing with the brace and all that. Obviously, he's kind of looked a little slower, but I was excited for him playing left tackle today. And I thought this was kind of his best outing that I've seen so far for Keon Smith. So I was really happy about Keon because out of all the backups, he's the one guy I have some hope for. And as you all know, Austin Jackson has been injury prone now, and we have to call him that now. And then you need somebody to back up Patrick Paul. So Keon playing left tackle today, I thought was important, and I hope he starts making the progress back to where he was before he got the injury, because he was one of those guys, you remember a couple of years back, that I go, this guy, nobody really was talking about him. And I said, Keon will make the team because he was looking good in training camp at that time. And then he got the injury, and then it's been a hard, it's been hard sledding for him to get back. And today there was some signs, and hopefully they can build on it, because it's hard for us to feel good about the depth on the offensive line. Let's be honest, okay? We can lie to ourselves if we want, but that's not going to help us. The reality is we hope that the 5 you have are good enough, and we're hoping. And then on top of that, my God, we can't see any of them go down, because we don't know what the hell they have, at backup, overall. So, but there were things today. Eskridge was a great story. You got to have some backups behind the top 2 dudes, and the fumble, which, by the way, nice job. Was it Tanner Connor, the one that when Eskridge fumbled? What was it? Was it Tanner Connor that? I think it was Tanner Connor, right? That recovered it, and so that was cool to see. Oh no, wait, or was that Tyndall on the? It was the return, right? Was it the return when it was that he fumbled? But either way, credit to one of the Dolphins there that did recover it. And I think maybe there was 2 fumbles, right? And Tanner and Tyndall, each of them recovered it. But either way, Eskridge's story today was really cool because he had the adversity and he was able to overcome it. And I know he had a drop, but overall, I really like what I saw from Eskridge today. I don't know about this Weiss Jr. kid. He was playing against third stringers. He's a big receiver. I don't know why the Icon kid wasn't playing. He hasn't done anything. And but again, I know the starters aren't in there, and that's kind of where you want him to be, and that's what you're paying him to be. So there's already like an expectation level. It's just he hasn't really proven it in Dolphins fans' eyes. So that was one guy I want to see because, it was nice to see Azukama get something, and now you have the Weiss Jr. kid. You got to get big receivers involved in all of this. Okay? Tua is not a tall quarterback, as you guys know he's slightly taller than this. Just slightly. So, since he's slightly taller than this, give the man some big receivers. And I'm not saying Weiss Jr., you could put him on the practice squad, but I'm saying I'm hoping that Icon and Azukama, whoever, big receivers start to become a part of this offense. It cannot be only small receivers. That doesn't make any sense. And speaking of big receivers, why is Julian Hill? Why is he off today? Who the hell is Julian Hill? If there's anybody that needs reps, practice, scrimmage, preseason games, it's Julian Hill. Unless you tell me he was injured. And then I find out if he was injured. I don't have Sean here helping me and going through social media, but I don't know if the coach will mention something about Julian Hill. If they ask him after if he was injured, I'll look it up here to make sure, and I'll do my best at keeping up and everything. And by the way, you can also make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, and Solana donation. You can use the QR codes there to make a donation. PayPal also is another way to support us as always, and we appreciate that immensely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. And of course, we appreciate all our amazing sponsors, including Perdomo Cigars, by the way, and Victory Cigar to the Miami Dolphins, picking it up 24-17, which is a beautiful thing. Joe Cracchiola, thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. He says, Big O, I'm trying not to get too excited because we all know the inevitable will happen once the season starts, but today was fun. Love the show. It was a really fun preseason game. Listen, man, we got to allow ourselves to have fun. Okay, we're going to go through some rough waters. I'm not going to BS you guys. I never do. I keep it as straight as it gets. Okay, I'm not expecting us to have a great season, but I'm actually expecting to be excited foundationally about a lot of things. And that's kind of where I'm excited about it. If I can get Phillips Chubb to stay healthy along with Chop, I'm going to have a lot of fun watching that. I know it's going to be rough for them because they're going to get to the quarterback a lot of times, and the guy's going to get it just off because of our secondary. And I get all of that, dude. I know it's coming. I understand it's a real monster for them to overcome, not having a great secondary. And look, Ethan Bonner got banged up. I want to say it was the right knee when he was standing there. I saw him reach first for the front part of his leg. I don't know if maybe after he reached for the back or something, but at the front, I was kind of a little concerned because it kind of felt knee, like that was the issue. So, just kind of crazy in that sense. And they don't have a secondary. So that's going to be hard to overcome, not having a secondary. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be fun to watch the fat guys in the middle. Okay. Fun to watch I saw a Dolphin that told me, Well, so what if they hit on the defensive tackles? That is not that important in the big scheme. No, yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's extremely important. Anybody that thinks, let me explain something. If you hit on these defensive tackles, which I think you did, so now you've got Zach Sealer signed up. Now you've got Grant signed up for 5 years now, 4 years plus the 5th year because he's a 5th rounder. So you've got him controlled for 5 years. You've got the other two, okay, Phillips and Biggers, who look good. You got them locked up for 4 years. All of a sudden now you're not spending big money at that position. And if you can shut people down in the middle of the field and do not allow them to run, plus Sealer, Grant, Phillips, and Biggers all have penetrating abilities. They're not just guys that will hold offensive linemen up and allow guys to run. Some of them can do that. But what they also can do is throw guys to the side, and then they can actually disrupt by caving in different running lanes. So all of a sudden, if you're caving in different gaps, you're creating problems all of a sudden for a football team. And then they've got to run outside, and Miami has a lot of speed on the outside, even the backup linebackers. So this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And it's going to be very fiscally responsible over the next couple of years because it keeps you at a really low level for 2 years at least. Because then 2 years from now, Grant coming off his 3rd year into his 4th year is when you start talking about another contract for him. You know what I'm saying? So that's when but for now, if you've hit on those tackles, all of a sudden in one off season, you solved a problem for several years to come, and then it allows everything else. This is why I've told you that if you're able to, the other thing, by the way, the McClendon guy now, okay, the Murphy kid, and God bless Murphy, man. He got the injury last year with the knee injury. He was looking really good in training camp or in the beginning of the preseason, I think is when he got injured. And then all of a sudden he lost his opportunity. Now he's back and he's looked really, really good. Remember, I've told you guys, if things aren't going, like what we would all love to see, and they're not challenging for that playoff spot, that's when Chubb and Tyreek become available for the trading deadline, because they can unload Chubb's contract and Tyreek, and whoever gets them can get, well, with Tyreek, the contract runs out. You could just walk away from it. With Chubb, you'll have an option to continue, or if not, a window to get out. But either way, a pass rusher and a number one wide receiver is something that anybody needs down the stretch if they're trying to make a playoff to Super Bowl run. And because they're not tied to them long term, it's like an NBA expiring contract, as you all know. If you follow the NBA, that it's a year ahead and it's an expiring contract. People love that because it's they're trading you a guy that's 2 or 3 years left, but they're going to get their cap space a year later. Same thing. They get to rent the player and then get the space later. So it becomes attractive. And if you've developed pass rushers, you can get rid of Chubb, because you're going to move on with Chop, obviously, and Phillips is your young guy. So you got to free up some money so you can continue to kind of turn over the roster. You see what I'm saying? So all of these things help in a big time way. And if you develop, like I told you, Grant, Phillips, and Biggers, along with Sealer, and they bring pass rush ability, it takes a little bit of pressure off the edge guys. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of ways that foundationally this team can improve without having to, oh man, we didn't have the playoff year. We didn't win the playoffs. We didn't go to the Super Bowl. We didn't win the Super Bowl. The same issues we've had, but you could walk away from the season if the Weaver change comes, and then you see the young talent kind of building, and then foundationally you kind of feel better for the future. So for me, that's kind of how I'm looking at it. If you want to surprise the hell out of me and give me a winning season and win a playoff game, say more power to you. That's fine. I'm a Dolphins fan. You know what I mean? But stuff like I watched today gets me excited about okay, I know the shit may hit the fan. I know we may not be in great shape right now and all that good stuff, but who knows, man? Maybe somehow or another we at least can start feeling a little bit better about the future. What else do we have? Let me go on the chat board here. Thank you all. Appreciate you all. I see Oscar Rojas, number one in there. Rob says, nice to see high IQ play clinch the win. Although I wouldn't mind going for that fourth down instead of the field goal, to be quite honest. I would have liked to have given Ewers another shot at the end zone. Ewers played well, man. Ewers was 11 of 17, 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. Zach Wilson was 15 of 23, 151 yards and a touchdown. And passes that were off target, and just sometimes the receiver had to make a real nice play to make up for the throw. Talonzo, I guess I'm going to pronounce it. Thank you, sir, for the love in the super chat. He says, Big O, good game. Question, go back and look at Ewers' throwing motion. His hips nor his legs move. His throws flat-footed. I was curious if you saw that. I see a dude that is accurate, much more accurate than the other guy. That's what I see. You know what I mean? I'm not enough of a QB coach to tell you, did you watch Bernie Kosar play, dude? You know what I'm saying? You want ugly throwing? I don't give a shit. Does he get there? Did you watch Larry Bird shoot? Sometimes Dontrell Willis had the funky chicken. When they messed with it, his career was over. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Do you see? This is what I would tell you, Talonzo. Okay? Who reads better? Who reacts better? Who anticipates better? Who has better ball placement? Ewers or Zach Wilson? That's all I got to ask you. I don't give a shit how they stand. I'm not a quarterback's coach. And I'm sure neither are you, by the way. And everybody does it differently. And that is one thing you really cannot control sometimes. So I wouldn't mess with it. If the kid is accurate and it's got him this far, I think he might be doing the right things. True Fin, thank you for the love on the super chat. What's the definition of insanity? All must go. Big O, is there any way before we make our cuts to 53 in practice squad, we can trade some of our defensive talent and fill some holes like defensive backs and offensive line? They could try, but remember, other people may have extras too. And, so they may want to take a chance on you releasing, and then they'll take their chances on the free agent market and all that kind of stuff. So you never know, my brother. I'm sure they're going to try and wheel and deal, but here's where we got to be. Let's go to reality, Oscar. You're not getting an offensive lineman to save your ass right now. Nobody's going to give you, because people don't have enough of that to start anyways all over the league. Tons of teams have offensive line issues. It's not just the Dolphins. The very few that have no issues are the ones that usually are in the Super Bowl or challenging for it. That's the funny part. There's only like a couple that are like really solid at offense. Everybody else has got issues. 2 or 3, 4 teams maybe are like, yeah, we love our 5 guys. They're awesome. We got a 6th or 7th. Very few teams are doing that. You know what I'm saying? So you're not going to find one. And nobody's going to give you a corner that you need. Nobody. At that, they're going to keep those kind of players. And if they're available for a much higher price than back-end guys on your roster right now, Oscar. You know what I'm saying? And if there's something that I want to keep reiterating to everybody out there, they have proven over and over again, they're not spending. So, folks, stop it already. If you want them, and they need to go trade for a top corner somewhere, give up a first, second, third. They're not doing any of that. They're stockpiling. That's why I told you that there's a better chance of Chubb and Tyreek traded in the trading deadline than even ending the season with the Dolphins. Big O, do you think they will keep more wide receivers this season on the 53? It's I think you're looking at 5 to 6, no more than that. And remember, the back end guys, it has to be like a D. Eskridge that has to help you out on special teams, or has to be a flyer or something along those lines. And then they're going to try to keep one of those big receivers along with all the regular guys. So your numbers are going to be kind of limited. And yeah, I don't think it's more than 5 or 6. I don't think they'll go to 7, put it that way, right now. At least that's the way I feel. What else do we have? Euro Santho says the pass by Ewers on the rollout was a thing of beauty. I was a huge fan drafting Ewers. I think he could be a decade-long good backup that can win you some games, a little like Matt Moore. Yeah, actually, and I think he's actually a little bit more responsible than Matt Moore. Matt Moore would also take some chances at times and put the ball at risk a little too often. But he had gunslinger mentality to him, so that's kind of why. But yeah, I like Ewers, man. I've liked Ewers from the get-go over Zach Wilson. I've seen Zach Wilson, and I've seen this kind of quarterback for years in the NFL. Sweet Baby Ray, Gordon is the real deal. Should be running back 1. Achane should be the change of pace, third and long. In a perfect world, you are correct, right? If Ollie can get to that point and prove, then you can make that reversal and save Achane. But right now, because your offense is not very good, because your offensive line doesn't block great, you kind of need lightning to hit it quickly and bust out. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, I don't expect them to do that. I expect it to be lightning and thunder. But the point you bring up, okay, Ray, is total common sense. You know, I'd rather hit him with the big back and pound him and then play off of that with the lightning, and they're like, oh shit, and they gotta, you know, and then that change of pace is brutal. But right now, since he's a young back, we also have to see Ollie. One more thing, Ray. Okay, here's where none of us can get too excited. We have to see Ray in a blocking scheme. We have to know that he can pick up the blitzer every single time. So that way he can be left back there at times, and he's not in there and they're like, oh, okay, they're going to use him, because they don't pass with him back there because they don't trust him in blocking. So that's one thing that we need to know that Ollie Gordon can do also. He must be able to block. And if he can block, we know he can catch and run. But if he can block and he's smart enough to know where the extra blitzer is coming from, then it becomes on those third and longs, instead of putting an Achane in there, which you put him at risk of injury, then Ollie Gordon. But he hasn't passed that test, which is a very crucial test for young running backs. So that's one thing that we do have to wait and see, Ray, to kind of then, you know, it's part of the process to find out if we can move him up to 1 and make Achane the 2. You know what I'm saying? But we're way ahead of ourselves right now. All I'm saying is, as of today, what I'm seeing from Ollie Gordon, I would rather see Ollie Gordon than Jalen Wright as my number 2 now. That's all right now. You're another step ahead of us, right? But I'm not there yet. I need to see a little bit more before I get there. But right now, I want to see Quinn Ewers challenge Zach Wilson for the number 2. And I want to see Ollie Gordon. I want to see Ollie Gordon become the number 2, actually, because Jalen Wright hasn't done jack shit. So, you know, if you were the incumbent and you were established and all that kind of stuff, but no, dude, you went MIA last year, and you don't look as good as she does. The ageless wonder, MIA. If you look that good, Jalen, then okay, then we can let you go. But you don't. You don't. You look like Sharon Stone right now. So it just doesn't work. I just saw Sharon Stone in the new Denzel Washington movie. Wait for it on an app. Just so you'll know. The new Spike Lee joint, Higher to Lower, Highest to Lowest. It's a decent movie, but not worth paying. Put it that way. Not worth paying $30 for you and your friend, your girlfriend, whatever, your wife, husband, whatever. Not worth it. Little side one there for you. True Fin Fan once again with the super chat. Says, I'm redoing 2019. All big contracts gone. All. Big O Tua did not start. You think he would play next week in the home game against Jacksonville? I don't know. I think David Furones had a good point on our show this week when he said that the norm is that Tua plays one game. And I think that might be right. I think we kind of saw what we were going to see last week, and we're done because it's so short now. You don't want to get anybody injured. I kind of think that I would raise the stakes for my Ollie Gordon, Jalen Wright battle in week 3. I would raise my stakes up with Quinn Ewers and Zach Wilson. I would actually start Quinn Ewers this week. That's just me. I would make it fair. But again, my conspiracy theory is that Zach Wilson is McD's pick and Quinn Ewers is the front office pick, because the way he has broken things down, he has not really given Ewers the same kind of opportunities, whereas Zach Wilson hasn't really earned that outside of salary. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But I'd like to do some of that in week 3. Okay? I am feeling good about the linebackers and the defensive tackles, man. That's a lot of fun. And the O-linemen need as much work as possible, too. DeMarcus Bryant says, I sent this a while ago. Ewers will replace Tua if he gets hurt. If Tua gets hurt, because if he does, we will have Brady Bledsoe transition. Not saying Super Bowl Brady Ewers is real. Whatever, we'll see about, that all that silliness comes. Yeah, I heard Huntley was going to take his job and Bridgewater was going to take his job and, whatever. Skylar Thompson was also going to take his job, right? We even had some idiots that actually thought Skylar Thompson was the starting quarterback, all of that over to us. So I've seen all of that, bro. You know what I mean? At Alabama, he made Jalen Hurts transfer and get the hell out. Whatever, bro. Tua's not the problem here. And Tua's only the problem when his dumbass wants to go out and run and throw his body around. When he thinks he's a football player, that's when it's over. But if he stays back there and just is the passer, the orchestrator, sky's the limit for any team he can play. But you got to run the football and you got to block. He's just like I've told people in the past, why don't we all sit down and let's have a really long conversation, okay? Let's have a long conversation. All the games. Let me put my man down here. Let me bring my top guy here. Let's talk about all the games that guys like, Marino, Manning, Brady, Breeze. Let's talk about, let's have some, I know these conversations are going to be deep and long and all the memories and highlights. Let's talk about all the games that these guys won with their legs. Okay, it's over now. Okay, great. That was a great conversation. Damn, that was fantastic. That was awesome. Huh? That was just, because those guys have such a long history. Rich history of winning so many games, maybe half a game with their legs, because that's not what they're there for. And some people forget that the quarterback position, it's been like that forever. It's been like that forever. There are just guys, you're not going to win with your legs with Johnny Unitas. Just the way it is, dude. And you're not going to win with your legs with Tom Brady. But if you can block and you can run the ball, and then, of course, you got to play defense and do all the other stuff that regular football teams do. The Eagles, okay? Tua can shoot out of his ass a football more accurate than Jalen Hurts could throw it. Okay? Tua can plug it right in his ass and just fire away with farts, and it'd be more accurate than Jalen Hurts. You think the Eagles won because of Jalen Hurts? No, the Eagles won because they were dominant on offense and defensive lines, and they can run. So Tua is not your problem only when he thinks he's a freaking football player. That's when it's stupid, Tua. And that's when he gets in trouble, and hips and ankles and concussions and all the crap that he's gone through. It's when he holds on to the ball and he thinks he's a hero, and he's not that hero. He's the hero that throws it and reads and reacts. The same thing that guy was. The same thing Brady was, and Manning and Breeze and all. And the sick history of the NFL of quarterbacks that never won a goddamn thing with their legs. But the guys that need their legs in order to be effective quarterbacks, okay, they have very little titles to show for. Jalen Hurts is like one of the few. And they didn't win because of Jalen Hurts. Kid, we need you to make a couple of throws. Well, you think Tua can't make those same throws? Get the hell out of here. But Jalen Hurts has to run to be a really good quarterback. Lamar Jackson has to run to be a really good quarterback. Josh Allen needs to run to be a really good quarterback because they cannot make a living like those guys from the pocket. A pure living from the pocket. So the problem is we've had 40 years of stupidity, and it started with Shula, and it comes till now. And so many of you have grown up in stupid football that you keep forgetting that you got to win the line of scrimmage. And so we keep falling for the finesse bullshit that we have here, okay? And we don't punch people in the mouth. And so that's why you ruined his career, and you will ruin Tua's career because you won't run the ball and you won't dominate the offensive line. So if you don't run and dominate the offensive line, you won't win with Quinn Ewers, okay? Who was that said that? DeMarcus Bryant, okay? Smart guy. You won't win with Marino. You won't win with Tua, and you won't win with Quinn Ewers. You know why? None of those guys are going to win with their legs. They're not going to carry you with their legs. Yeah, there are other guys that are extensions of the running game. And then they happen to be, half decent passers. So you got to kind of play with it and hope that it works out one day, that they pass well and run well that day. Well, all these other guys, they pass well every day. Just block. Just block and run. That's how the game was made. You block and run, and then the quarterback is the quarterback. He throws the ball around. But now we all want the guy that can run and pass, and there's almost none of them that are actually like pinpoint accurate and running. It'll eventually come because that's where we're headed, but we haven't evolved to that point yet. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the DeMarcus Bryants, right, still don't fucking get it. They still don't fucking get it. If you don't have the running quarterback and you have Marino or you have Tua, or if you have Quinn Ewers, let's say he rises from the ashes. If you don't block and you don't run for those kind of quarterbacks, you're still not going to win the big game. You're still not going to go deep in the playoffs. You will not win in the winter. You will not win on the road. Why? You need that physical element, and it doesn't come with your arm. Okay? School's out, DeMarcus Bryant. School's out. And some of you out there, you still need the schooling badly. You still don't understand football. Okay? It's a real shame that a lot of you still don't understand football. And that's why we're in this position, especially as a fan base, too. It's a sad part. Sweet Baby Ray, thank you for the love on Cash App. He goes, we need 4 more picks like Patrick Paul. Amen. Amen. I cannot argue with that one, my friend. You are correct. Patrick Paul looks pretty special. And again, what was the talk in the offseason? Oh, I don't know if Patrick Paul can play. Oh, no, we need to run Armstead back. No, go sign. Oh, we don't even know Patrick Paul. Well, bro, that's why you drafted him. That's what I was saying all offseason. He better play. He's a second-round pick. He better goddamn play. And he's looked good. Kid is serious. He took it serious. He got himself prepared. He looks lean. He looks mean. He gets his paws on you, as we say about those big men, and it's over, bro. I'm excited about Patrick Paul. See, these are the individual things that I, as a Dolphin fan, am going to live on throughout the year. Those are the things I'm going to live on. To me, that's the cool part. Let's see. Cam Smith did make a nice play. Let me give you a little news and notes going on, because I know we've got some stuff already at this point. So I might as well pass it on. Let's see what McDaniel said. He told reporters that Zach Sealer and Devon Achane are out between days and weeks, but will be reassessed in Miami this week. Okay. So will they be ready for the opening? Oh, man. Okay. Now, he says he's not concerned about their regular season availability. So let's hope that it's all good. Ethan Bonner has a hamstring injury and will get checked out in Miami. That sucks because they need everything and possibly every single cornerback they can possibly have out there. What else do we have? Zach Wilson says they need to be better operationally, and it starts with him. You mean like when you couldn't get a play going? And okay, I'm sorry. What else do we have? Jeff Wilson, by the way, scoring a touchdown for the Niners. Former Miami Dolphin, getting work back with his old team. Let's see what else. I'm trying to find anything that's decent to report for you guys so far. It's just the Sealer and Achane stuff, and then obviously the corner having a hamstring injury, Ethan Bonner. That's about it right now. Okay. Not seeing anything shocking or anything else outside of that. But, hey, the Sealer stuff and Devon Achane are out between days and weeks. This is why, this is why Mike McDaniel sucks, why he is a terrible game day coach, why he's a terrible head coach, period. And this is not hindsight. Anybody watch the postgame last week? You watched the show on Monday? Did I not bring up why is Achane even playing? Why is he being used on short yardage and now he's injured? Because you're an idiot. Because Mike McDaniel is an idiot. That's all. Why do I need to see Achane the entire the entire preseason? Why? What do I possibly need to see from him? Like last year, I was losing my mind. If you guys watched last year, the last month of the season, how they were still overusing Achane and the season was going to a waste. And I'm like, oh my God. And I swear I went to church practically every day praying to the football gods to keep my guy Devon Achane injury free, because this asshole was going to run him right into the ground. And I'm sorry, but I'm tired of Mike McDaniel, and I saw a lot of the crap that's gone on throughout, not having his team prepared, players prepared, whatever it is, dude. And it's bothersome for it to get to that point. And here's Achane, injured, and to me, I don't know, man. I really don't understand this sometimes with Mike McDaniel. And there are players you want to see, like Julian Hill. I didn't hear an injury for Julian Hill. If there's not an injury, why would that guy take anything off? He's not even close to a finished product. He's a guy you can't even trust. That's the guy I would be playing. I would have been playing Jalen Wright like crazy to just find out what the hell is going on. What do I have here? Do you feel good about Jalen Wright? Are we comfortable? None of us are. We're now more excited about Ollie Gordon II than we are about Jalen Wright. And this is the coach's fault. I don't need to see Achane. There's some people that I just don't need to see. And he's reached that level. He plays so much. He makes so many big plays. Dude, I don't need you taking any extra hits from anybody. And I'm certainly not using your ass on short yardage, because that's the reason I signed Madison. That's the reason I drafted Ollie. That's the reason I have the fullback. So whoever is available, which right now it's Ollie, that's who I would use. To your credit, you did use Madison. Unfortunately, he got injured. That sucks. But it's just constantly the decisions that are made drive my ass crazy. Big O, can you give DeMarcus Bryant a blind ass fan alert? Now that I think about it, that blind ass fan alert, why not? Let's I think we could do that. I think I could find it. Let me see if I got it.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
Ask and you shall receive. Oh, I can see McDumbass feeling the heat and trying to save his ass by firing Weber. No, that there's no chance that happens at all. There's no chance that happens at all. By the way, everything I hear, they get along great, those two. Okay? From what I hear, there's actually really good chemistry between those two. So it's not like it's not something that we're let's see. Okay. All right. Anyway. We'll see what happens there, but not good. All right. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, of course, which we always appreciate it. Don't forget to visit our amazing sponsors like Caneswear. And you can use our code BIGO10. You will get 10% off there at Caneswear. Go to caneswear.com. Online, you will get 10% off, or in person at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and tell them that I sent you, and they will take care of you. Good people out there, man. What else do we have? Give credit to McDaniel for hiring good assistants, something Flores couldn't do. I would give McDaniel credit if he could actually keep a coaching staff together. You know what I'm saying? Because, first of all, he kept the special teams coach around too long. Now he's on his third defensive coordinator. All right. So he knows offense, but that's his forte. It's kind of like Flores. He knew defense, but he didn't know offense. You know what I'm saying? And how do we know it's his hire and not the front office? Like, do you think Flores and company brought Fitzpatrick, or do you think it was the front office and Chris Greer? You know what I'm saying? So these are things that I don't know. Let's not go crazy giving too much credit. McDaniel makes a ton of mistakes as a coach. I can't give a guy a credit when he had Skylar Thompson around him for 3 years and he couldn't play. That's some scary shit, dude. You have Skylar Thompson around you for 3 years and the guy can't play. And by the way, Skylar Thompson balled last week. I don't know. Has he played yet this week? Let me look it up here. Nope. The Steelers play at 7:00. I'm going to be interested to see what the stats are again for Skylar Thompson in that game. Because if he starts playing well there, that will be an indictment on the guy you want to give credit to. I see too many mistakes from Mike McDaniel to give him any kind of credit whatsoever. because his overall grade is so poor that if he does a couple of good things, it's just not enough to outweigh the bad with all of that. So I'd love to do that, but I can't, my brother. There's no way. What else do we have? Here comes all the blind ass fans saying the backup can take Tua's job. Yeah, everybody takes Tua's job. You know what I'm saying? And then when everybody has to replace Tua, none of them can even come close playing to Tua's level. Isn't that the funny part? None of them can come close to playing Tua's level, but yet everybody wants, and again, he's not really the problem. Give him a running game and a real offensive line, and then he won't have to think about doing stupid things, hopefully. And he could just worry about passing, like Marino, you know? But Marino could not run at all, and he wasn't going to run. He wasn't going to try. Neither is Tom Brady, and neither is Peyton Manning. They may do a quarterback sneak for you, but they're not running the ball. They're not trying to win any games running the ball. They can't. It's not what they're trying to do. The best thing you would get from Marino, Brady, or Manning, or somebody like that would be the field is so open they run out for 5 or 6 yards and slide, and they tag their slow ass. You know what I'm saying? Because those people are like sloth out in the open field. Anytime Marino would try to run, we were like, oh my God, slide. Luckily, Dan actually played baseball, so he could slide. So the few times he did it, he would slide, and definitely Dan wasn't going to ever take any unnecessary shots. That's what I loved about Marino. He was going to live for the next play. Unfortunately, my dude thinks, he's some kind of, I don't know, boulder or something that he can like take on people. Marino, he knew who he was, and he wasn't going to do any of that mess. I love that. Know who you are, dude. Rob, thank you. Can't wait to see Ollie out there with Tua. Let's hope so, man. And let's hope we could get Austin Jackson back for the home opener, or for the opener, that is. I don't even know if it's on the road or at home, by the way. You know that? I'm so in the moment that I'm not even thinking about that. Let me look it up. No, it's at Indy. So first week, for anybody that goes, you get to go to Burns Steakhouse. You bastards out there, you're so lucky. God, a little shrimp cocktail at Burns Steakhouse and a nice steak. Love it. I love it. Edward Thurston House says McDaniel knows the offense but can't get the plays in on time. I know it's really weird, dude. It's really, really weird. True FinFan says, I'm so tired of fans still talking about Flores. It's 2025. People, Flores sucked, and guess what? The Miami Dolphins still do. Yeah. I mean, a guy that had like 4 different offensive coordinators, 3 different offensive line coaches, 3 different quarterbacks coaches. At one point, he had an offense that had 3 people deciding the plays. I mean, it was like a shit show, dude. And then they still like clamor for him. It's like, how stupid can you people be? Did you not live it? Like, how much more disgusting can you be as a coach that you literally are trying to sabotage the career of your number 1 pick? Just because you had a disagreement in the draft room with them, that's not your job, dude. Your job is to coach them up no matter who it is. And you chose to go the other way. You chose a sinister path instead. Literally a sinister path where you wanted to ruin the guy's career. To start him against the Rams with that offensive line, bro, that is criminal. Coming off that hip surgery. And if you go back and check the video, I wanted him to pretty much sit most of the year to completely recover, see everything, because I knew the line wasn't good and it was kind of a disaster. Let the veteran take all the beating and all, and bring him in towards the back end of the year. But no, he chose the Rams for a reason, dude. I can't. It's just disgusting, really. And to see some of you, that's why there's some of you out there that you're like forgiving. Let me touch on a story that I want to talk about, because we got some issues that I want to talk about, and I'm going to pick on Channel 4. I know it's going to sound negative and all that, and I don't mean to do it. I don't mean anything I understand that they've got to do this. Okay, so Tua goes and does an interview in between quarters, I think, or whatever it was, and they're interviewing him, and they got to ask him the whole stupid question about your relationship with Tyreek and where it's at. Let's get into this. Okay. What more do you guys need to hear? You think it's a good relationship or something? Why would anybody have a good relationship with Tyreek? It's only been a couple of months since he quit on you, since he wanted out, since he wanted to get traded. We have gone through no adversity whatsoever. We've only had a stupid offseason. There are no games, no tough moments, no games where he didn't get the ball, no tough losses, no embarrassing moments, nothing. We have had no adversity. And Tua already told you that, Tyreek's got to earn it a while back. But the media keeps picking at it like you're going to get any more out of it. And grow the hell up, dude. And I get it, dude. The reporter probably had nothing to do with it. The producer probably, because they're trying to stir it up and all that bullshit. But it's really kind of lame at this point. And you've got to be fucking dense. I mean, absolutely dense to think you're really going to know what's going on. And to really think that they're going to tell you what's going on. And Tua's really going to tell you that he really doesn't trust Tyreek yet. Because he shouldn't. Do you have a brain? Why would you trust Tyreek? How stupid can you be? But then again, I see the Brian Flores thing. You guys can be pretty stupid. Pretty freaking stupid. Americans have proven to me over the last few years, they can be pretty stupid in many ways. So I get it. Some of you are just stupid because you're not going to know anything. They're not going to tell you that they're fighting behind the scenes. They're not going to tell you that he really doesn't trust them. And you're not even smart enough, media, to figure out, nothing's going to change during the offseason. We haven't been in the real games. Now, are we in the middle of October where you're 6-1 and you overcame a couple of really difficult situations and Tyreek made some big plays and whatever happened that it felt like something, and then you can ask those questions. Where are you guys after all this adversity and all that? Because maybe there's a connection at that moment. You know what I'm saying? But right now, to keep picking at a lame-ass story that there's nothing to it whatsoever, and common sense would tell you if you have half a brain, no one trusts Tyreek Hill. No one. And if you trust him, you're an idiot. He's a fraud. All he's doing is he's trying to stay in line because he needs to earn a contract next year or get traded by the trading deadline. It'll be hard for him, but he has to try to stay in line. You know what it reminds me of? I just thought about it right now. What's the name of the track star? Shari Richardson, right? Shari Richardson, I think it is, right? Sha'Carri Richardson. So Sha'Carri has been a ball of fire for a while. Rude, just it wasn't handling winning or losing early in her career. And then she kind of went through like the last 2 years of like handling everything when the camera's on perfectly and answering all the questions and trying to play the game. And she was playing the game to her credit. And you had to give her credit and you had to say, okay, maybe she's trying to change. And then comes the incident with her boyfriend. And you see what it is. And by the way, she's lying literally to the police about what she says she was doing when the video caught her doing something else. And then she's saying he's assaulting her and she's the one assaulting him. And my point is, people are who they are, period. And until they prove to you over and over again in those situations that they're not that person anymore, you got to take them for who they are. So for anybody to keep asking about the Tua Tyreek relationship, that's some lame ass shit, because common sense should tell you where it stands, not with just Tua, with everybody else. And if you are already on Tyreek's side, trusting him, man, you're the kind of person that actually sends money to the Nigerian prince. You're the one. You're the one. That's impressive, dude. You're the one. But then again, Americans can be stupid. There's no doubt. Give me 30 seconds. I got to turn on the AC.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com media.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
And by the way, don't forget, at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, if you use our name, you will get $500 off if you're buying or leasing a vehicle at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, 16100 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. You can use that QR code that's right there at the same time, so you can get $500 off. So if you go there, and you're trying to buy or lease a vehicle, tell them, hey, I get $500 off if I mention the big O, and you will get $500 off there at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Don't forget, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can use those QR codes there, and you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. Samuel says, completely agree with you. Thank you, sir. Costa says, did anyone see Zach Wilson's noodle arm today? No, it's not that he has a great arm. He's a thrower, not a passer. Ewers is a passer. He has touch. He has accuracy. Zach is a zip it guy, and so he doesn't really have touch, and so he'll short arm stuff. He'll overthrow it. Receivers will have to come back for the ball, overstretch for the ball. If you notice his ball placement and like I said, last week, he has Tannehill like what's it called? Awareness in the pocket. An athlete trying to become a quarterback. It's all it is, dude. It's all it is. It's not that it's a noodle arm. He's trying to pull back and touch instead, and he just doesn't. That's not who he is. So he doesn't know how to turn that on and off. Like regular quarterbacks, Marino could fling it, and then all of a sudden he could just throw like a little floater down the sideline to Keith Byers or Tony Nathan or whatever it is on some wheel route or something, and he could do that because he had touch and he had a gun at the same time because he's a real passer. Passers know when they've got to fling it into a small window or they've got to put a little touch to buy the guy time to get behind the defender, and then it lands right ahead of him to lead him over. These are things that Zach Wilson just doesn't know how to do, Kosa. It's not a noodle arm thing. It's just a touch thing, and he doesn't know how to take the mustard off and put the touch on it. That's just not his thing. It's not his fault. It's not who he is. But they're, the history of coaches are, I can make them, I can make them, I can make them, I can make them. And that's what we have here. What else do we have? Big O, what is your take on the Dan Le Batard, Stu Gott's divorce? What? They broke up. Dan is still hurt that Stu went behind his back and went negotiating with Joe Bell at QAM. I have no idea. To be quite honest, dude, I never really watched that show. So I wouldn't know what goes on there at all. You know what I'm saying, dude? I have no idea. So, dude, I got away from the corporate mess and all that kind of stuff. I'm on my own, super happy here with Sean. I don't answer to anybody. I don't give a shit. I get to talk about what I want. I say what I want, and nobody can stop me from anything. You know what I'm saying? So I have total freedom here. I'm not tied to anything. I have great sponsors. I have amazing sponsors, R&M Contractors, Acura Pembroke Pines. I have so much freedom. I am so happy. You know what I'm saying? So I put all that corporate stuff behind me, and thanks to you all, and thanks to great sponsors, right? We're working on our 6th year on the platform on our own without any help from anybody, making a living and surviving and thriving and traveling and everything. We're going to Madrid this year. We went to 4 places last year. We've gone to Vegas a whole bunch of times, gone to New York, gone to so many different places, boxing events, all kinds of stuff, and we're doing it all on our own. You know what I'm saying? So I worry about myself. I worry about Sean. I worry about my family, and that's it. And I do it for the people that love brutal honesty about their teams, no matter what. You know what I mean? And we're not for everybody. So I'm happy. I really don't give a shit what's going on the Levitard and Stugat show, to be quite honest. You know what I'm saying? I really don't give a shit. I don't care what goes on at QAM or some guy goes to me, hey, what'd you think about FM? I go, it's not saving them from bankruptcy. Whatever. I mean, it's like a company that's so crippled, whatever. But it is what it is. It's a weird world, bro. And I'm glad I'm away from all of that. And I'm so blessed that I'm away from all that shit. I am on my own and answer to nobody. So it's a beautiful thing. What else? What else do we have? Wish everybody the best over there. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? But hey, man, I hope everybody finds their place and can make a living and move on. But quite frankly, I really don't give a shit. What else do we have going on? Borum does suck. Yeah, many penalties. He's not good. I told you. Our only hope, I think, is Keon. And he hasn't gotten back yet. You know what I'm saying? And Bitcoin. Samuel's right. Keon Smith and Bitcoin are our only hope. But I can guarantee you Bitcoin's going to come through because it always comes through. Tara Davis says, I didn't watch the game. How did the Dolphins offensive tackles perform today? I like what I saw from Keon. I'm done there. I saw some stuff from Keon. I can't say I was impressed with anything else that I saw from the tackles, to be quite honest, from the backups. That I can tell you. What else did I want to talk about? We talked about the Tua Tyreek. We talked about D. Eskridge. We talked about Ollie Gordon becoming the number 1 guy now. I mean, the number 2 guy behind Achane, ahead of Jalen Wright. We talked about the linebacker situation, which is just overflowing. That is fun, dude. The tackle situation with Phillips, Biggers, and Grant, that looks like it's going to be one monster draft in that sense, because Sealer's going to have if Phillips and Biggers actually really develop, man, we could give Sealer some rest at times, give him a little bit of a breather. That would be nice, dude. Keep him a little fresher, not overuse him like obviously they've had to over the years. Him and Wilkins, when Wilkins was here with them, those guys never came off the field, and he still is a beast. But if the 2 youngins are developing, that's going to help some, man. I like that. There's some stuff. That's why I'm not going to sit. I know I get a big picture. I don't expect much, but there's a bunch of stuff to look forward to for the season. That's what I would say, overall. And that's what I would look at it as a developmental type year. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I don't know why people sometimes look at it like a negative. I don't think so in this sense. I know because we haven't won in forever, but let's be honest, with this coach, it's hard to think of big picture things like that. It really is. All right, folks, we are out of here. We appreciate all of you out there as always. We'll see you on Monday morning. Same time, same place, same bat channel.